Have you ever wondered how one terrible accident can peel back the layers of a family's deepest wounds? Chinedu's stepmother, Ada, motioned for the driver to sit on chair in their cramped sitting room. The late afternoon light filtered through tattered curtains, painting her face in weary gold. She smoothed down her patterned wrapper, took a slow breath, and began. "I know you must be asking yourself," she said softly, "why a bright boy like Chinedu isn't in school right now. Why he's out in the hot sun, calling by sweet bread, instead of holding a pencil in a classroom." The driver leaned forward, curiosity and concern etched on his face. "Let me tell you," she continued, "how our world shattered, piece by fragile piece. Years ago, Chinedu's father, Is, was the sort of man people whispered about with respect. A savvy businessman, he had built a small empire of import-export deals across Lagos. His wife, Kizoma, was his school sweetheart, elegant, kind, and brilliant. Ada and Kizoma had been inseparable since secondary school, sharing secrets under mango trees and supporting each other through every exam and heartbreak. When Kizoma fell ill, suddenly stricken by a rare fever, she was rushed to a private clinic. Doctors fought to save her life, but the illness claimed her within weeks. Chinedu was only 6, his small world collapsing around him. Is barely survived his own grief. His business faltered. Chinedu, who had just completed his primary school finals and won admission to a prestigious boarding school, watched his father's strength slip away. Ada showed up unannounced at the family compound one sweltering afternoon, hands full of jollof rice and stew. She came to comfort, to cook, to console. Over months, her gentle care became the glue holding Is and young Chinedu together. As Is's composure returned, so did his admiration for Ada's steadfast devotion. What began as friendship grew quietly into love. They started getting closer to one another and having some intimate times together, especially when Chinedu was not at home. Ada naturally got pregnant as a result. When Ada discovered she was expecting Isa's child, there were harsh celebrations, though not everyone smiled. They moved Ada into the house, planning a formal wedding. Chinedu, shy but hopeful, practiced his best "good morning, mommy" every dawn. Fate, however, is a cruel teacher. On his way home from a meeting one humid evening, Isa's car was ambushed by highway bandits. By the time Ada received the call, the man she loved lay dead on a pavement miles from home. Grief crashed over Ada like a tidal wave. Isa's relatives, cousins, uncles, aunts, swooped into the city, eyes on the family fortune. Without ceremony, they evicted Ada and Chinedu from the compound, flooding the rooms with strangers who called themselves family members. With only a few naira in her pocket, Ada rented a narrow room in Mushin. Chinedu, heartbroken and penniless, watched his school fees disappear into the night. Ada worked small jobs, sewing trousers, selling akara at dawn. One late evening, after selling the last of her akara, Ada walked home through empty streets. A group of drunken men, faces twisted by greed and cruelty, waylaid her. In the half-built shell of an abandoned building, they stole her dignity one after the other. When she staggered home, she was a broken woman who had just lost her pregnancy through bleeding. Ada never spoke of that night again, but the scars ran deeper than any bandage could hide. With no choice left, Ada turned to a humble trade, buying sweet bread by the tray from a small bakery and reselling it on the street. She taught Chinedu to call out the wares, sharing what little hope she could muster. But every loaf he dropped, every naira lost, drove a dagger into her heart, and theirs. "And that brings us back to the day you found him, sir, his leg bleeding, his tray shattered." Ada's eyes flicked to the driver, voice thick with emotion. "You asked why I agreed to send him out there," she said. "I had no other way." The driver nodded, recalling Ada's raw honesty. "I promise," he said, voice firm. "I will help you start a safer business, something decent, indoors. And I will get Chinedu back to school." No more street hawking. Tears welled in Ada's eyes. Why me? Why us? He offered a gentle smile, the first spark of warmth since the afternoon began. Because every child deserves a classroom, not a pavement. And because sometimes, kindness finds us when we need it most. End of part 2. This story continues in part 3. Thank you for watching. Please come back for the continuation of this touching story to find out issues like: will Ada seize this lifeline, or will the weight of their past tragedies pull them under? How will Chinedu adapt to a life where he's a student again, not a bread hawker? Who is this benevolent stranger, and what secrets does his past hold? Stay tuned for part 3 to uncover the next chapter of hope, healing, and hidden dangers in Chinedu's journey. If this story gripped your heart, give us a like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon, because true courage often begins with a single loaf of bread. Please do us a favor by leaving comments below regarding what you think about this video and what other types of content you think we should produce on this channel for your consumption. Thanks for visiting the Myths and Stories from Africa channel.